Gareth Roberts for your Talking Reds. Good morning, by the way. We're probably in bed when you watch this, or certainly when it comes out. But we've just watched Liverpool in this magnificent ground, to be honest with you, at the MetLife. And they've just beaten a very young Manchester City side 2-1. And let's just talk about Mo Salah. Gareth, in that the reception, the way there was this buzz of anticipation that became a roar. There was this idea he struts onto the pitch, and his first contribution, he's integral in the move that then leads to his goal. And it really was. It was like watching Prince come back. It was unbelievable, and the place loved him.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it was significantly more Liverpool fans in the crowd. There was 52,000 here, which is only about sort of half fullish, really. But yeah, well more Liverpool fans than City fans here, you know, with us being a much bigger club than that. And yeah, a real buzz as soon as it looked like he was going to come on the pitch. An actual buzz when he did come on the pitch, and then it all took off when he put the ball in the back of the net. And yeah, it was... He's one of them players now, I think, where he's got an actual, like a presence about him, and you just sort of know something's going to happen every time the ball's near him. He looked fit, he looked ready to go. I think oddly what's gone on at the World Cup and stuff like that, with, you know, Egypt going out early, it all being a little bit weird around Egypt. You know, there being the question mark of whether he was fit and all that. He looks fit now, and that's what I'm worried about or concerned about. And he's ready to go on the basis of that cameo there. He looked great. He hit the bar as well. But he wasn't the only. I mean, him and Mane both made a huge difference to what we were watching. But we've got to give Camacho a shout as well, haven't we?
Camacho was fantastic. If you haven't had the chance to watch the game yet, he puts the ball in for Salah's goal. He's involved before, then he puts another fantastic pass through to him later on. And he was, honestly, Camacho was unbelievably exciting tonight. It really, you know, made you think that maybe, just maybe, this positional shift for him back to right back could be in the short term, and maybe his full stop interests, to be honest with you. And he did some nice little bits of defending quite well with against Sane, who earlier had absolutely just basically tore the back off Van Dijk. You know, fair play to Sane there. That's what he does for the Manchester City goal that opens proceedings. But Camacho came on, and as I say, it wasn't as though suddenly City were getting all sorts of joy either. He was quite solid, and it's an interesting little pre-season that's developing there. I think, you know, Camacho first and Curtis Jones, and maybe the two lads, Gareth, who you're looking at out of this, who may well have been able to do enough to say, you know what, be a first team player, can contribute to this squad.
Absolutely, certainly on the periphery of it. The type of lads that you think drop them in a cup game and everyone's happy with watching them play 90 minutes, bring them off the bench, and everyone's happy with that as well. You know, Jones just doesn't look out of place at all for me, and that's, you know, that's quite the compliment. I mean, I know it was a relatively inexperienced City side that you saw out tonight. You know, there was a lot of, obviously, their star players were at the World Cup, so, and I think more than any other club in the league, they're affected by the World Cup, if you like, which is all working towards my theory that we're going to win the league and we're going to run away with it in August. So, you know, that's all good. But no, those two, quite rightly, are getting plenty of praise, and I think deservedly so, because they don't look out of place, they look really good.
What's that? A man ran across the pitch, sprinted across from there, ran across the halfway line. Just as he got to the end, he slipped and completely went and dropped and hit the turf hard. It was an important piece of slapstick humour. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Got John over there. John might have got that for Snapchat. You never know. You never know whether or not you're lucky. You mentioned, I want to sort of come back on the presence thing. One of the things that struck me about Mane and Salah, and especially Salah, was this idea that, you know, 12 months ago, Mane had the excellent season 16-17, but 12 months ago he had a certain amount of presence, but not the amount he appears to have now. Not everything he's got now where he terrifies defenders. And Salah, I remember watching him last pre-season, and even, for instance, Watford away at the start of last season when he scores. But it wasn't this idea that he's finding ways to dominate football matches from this unorthodox position that he's got. And the pair of them just oozed presence, and yet it's against a weakened Manchester City side. But I reckon that could be Manchester City's first choice back three or back four, and they would have been looking at those two coming on going, oh no. The aura about them.
Yeah, it's like they've grown into their own bodies almost, and that they're comfortable with the idea that, you know, we are both good footballers, and we know we are, and we've got a swagger about us. And I think, you know, some of that will be instilled in them by Jurgen Klopp. I think he's that type of manager. That's how he works. That's what he wants to make. He said to us, I mean, we haven't talked about this yet, but we got half an hour with him. We did a great interview with him. We really enjoyed it. And one of the things he said in that interview was, I want my players to be the best player that they can be. And so even when they're at that level, you imagine he's still getting into their heads and saying you can go to another level here, you can be even better than that. And when, you know, Salah, the figures he's posting last season, to say that he can do even more than that is a big ask. But then he's strutting out there like a fella who looks like he thinks that's possible. Everything about him says confidence. Same with Mane, as you rightly say. And I think Mane now, you know, he used to be a bit of a, you know, it was said at Southampton, wasn't it? He's a bit of a streaky player. He'd be in form, out of form. There was some question marks about him not always turning up on time and things like that. I think we all know now he's an absolute pro. He's an absolute threat. And any defence that comes up against those two, plus Firmino, plus maybe Sturridge, you know, all the best, basically.
All the best indeed. Gareth mentioned there that we've got an interview with Jurgen Klopp. It's on our tour player subscription thing. If you haven't subscribed, it's £5 a month to subscribe. Loads of fantastic shows on there, absolutely loads of them. But we're made up with the interview we got with Andy Robertson earlier in the week, and this one now with Jurgen Klopp. It was the absolute business, and here's a little clip.
Atmospheres in world football, crazy. Okay, maybe not Sunday 12 o'clock, but no, but in other games you are. So that's all positive. We bring in really good players. We have a really good manager. So we all work together. That's it. That's the basis. So don't think. But again, starting about, but silverware at the end of the season. We come closer and closer and closer. There will be the moment when we all go nuts and have something in our hands and think, wow, really? But we don't know, is it after that season, after next season? I don't know it. But why we should? Only because other teams say, but they won it last year. That's it. Yeah. Congratulations, all good, but we have a chance. So let's go for it in a positive way. Let's enjoy life, because we lost the final, but all the rest was pure joy. It was a pure joy. It was like Rome after the game. Fucking hell, wow! Yeah, we had a kind of a party in the hotel, so that was cool. And it's to enjoy, but only if you then think. But it's only important if we have at the end something. We go for that. We go for that, and there will be the moment with me, without me, whatever. But that will be there. But we have to enjoy the journey to this point as well, and that's what we did last year, and that was for me the biggest step since we are in.
Jurgen there. It was terrific to get to speak to him, and to speak to him in our way. There was lots of stuff where if we wanted to chase a news line, we could have decided to go and do that. We could have said the idea of maybe asking him about transfers, but what we didn't want was for him to clam up or anything like that. Instead, what we thought was, how do we get the most interesting interview we can out of the Liverpool manager? And I think we really managed to do that. We got him really engaged, I'd like to think. I mean, he's an engaged fella anyway, that's the thing. That's one of the things. He's so engaged with the world. But we managed, we'd like to think that he enjoyed it, and because he enjoyed it, he just had a lovely chat with us.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something to do with what the Anfield Wrap is as well. I mean, look, we knew that he was doing an interview before us with Neil Jones, for instance, who is a journalist who is looking for a news line, a really good one. Yeah, absolutely, and so if there's a chance that he was going to speak about Fekir or Buvac or whatever, well, Neil would take that chance, and so we had to come up with something different. That's how we wanted to do it. We wanted to ask questions as fans, not as journalists. We wanted to ask him about what it's like to be Jurgen Klopp, and we did ask him that. We wanted to ask him about, how much do you rate the, when fans create a good atmosphere, and we wanted to know what it was like inside Melwood, inside his head, how he works as a leader, bigger questions than just going,
what's the news?
Yeah, what about Buvac there, lads, and what about this transfer that you've been... That all the rest of them can do that. That's not what we're about. That's not why we've created this thing, and that's not why we're doing what we're doing. So, the very fact that some people are sending us tweets saying, well, why didn't you ask X, Y, and Z? We're not here to do that. What we've done instead is got an interesting man to say interesting things, I think, for nearly enough half an hour. And I really enjoyed it. I know you did, Neil. And as we say, I'd like to think Klopp did too. And the feedback so far has been great. So, if you don't subscribe to the Anfield app, now's obviously a good time to do so.
Indeed, season just about to start. We ask him about that first and foremost. The season is just around the corner. Liverpool play their first competitive game on the 12th of August, and no time at all. Manchester City play their first competitive game next weekend in the whatever it's called, the Community Shield. They've got that coming up as well. That's how close the season is to starting. So if you would like to subscribe, now would be a fantastic time to do so. We cover all the games in our own way, pre and post match, doing loads and loads of fantastic work for you. It's £5 a month. It is the Anfield Wrap. To pull it back just to this game, it was noticeable. The other thing I took from it, with one eye on the start of that season, was what we can almost call the hour with what's probably the first choice defence for the first game. Yeah. Klein, Van Dijk, Robertson +1. So you got the whole first half, Gomez next to Van Dijk, and there was 15-20 minutes the second half where it was Klavan next to Van Dijk, and you get the impression now with Matip's injury, the manager's having a look at that. I think we'll see that again, but reversed in the next friendly, where the three who he's certain of will probably get the duration, and he's trying to see how the other lad fits in.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like almost nailed on that. Trent will get a little bit of a break at the start of the season, Henderson too, and so therefore Lovren as well, yeah. So therefore, you know, he's looking at it more and more now. It's not just a case of throw some lads in for 45 and take them out. You saw them go longer today. I think that'll be more and more the case now as the friendlies go on. United next, obviously, at Ann Arbor. We'll be going out to Detroit ourselves. We're doing a live show there on Friday. If you can get down to that, do come down. Among other things, we will have a signed shirt that Adam Lallana sorted out for us, signed by all the squad, signed by the manager. The manager signed it in front of us. And what we're going to do with that, what we did in New York as well, we got a shirt there from Andy Robertson, is we're going to raise money for North Liverpool food banks with it. We raised over £1,000 in New York. We hope to do something similar in Detroit. A bit mad that we're walking around with loads of dough, so I hope we don't get mugged, but when we get back.
Play it cool, Robbo. Jesus.
Beads of sweat, honestly. They're all strapped to John's body. But yeah, when we get back to Liverpool, we'll be sorting that out. We're absolutely made up that we've been able to do that, and the club have helped us. Adam Lallana's helped us, Andy Robertson's helped us, and all that money's going to go to a good cause. So if you're coming down to the show in Detroit, there's still tickets available, and you'll be able to buy a raffle ticket on the night to have the chance of winning that wonderful shirt.
Excellent stuff. Listen, this has been the Anfield Wrap. Really hope if you haven't had the chance to catch the game, I hope this has sort of summed up a lot of what there was in there. Liverpool won the game with a last-minute penalty. Sadio Mane strutted up and took it. There's a lovely moment where Joe Hart jogged over to the Manchester City bench before the penalty was taken, presumably to say, which way does Sadio Mane take his pens? And I like to think the response was the same as me and Gareth. Never seen him take one before, mate. Yeah. You're on your own on this one. I like to think that's what happened there as he got back into goal. Liverpool won the game tonight against a very young Manchester City side. It was a really good second half. It was a tidy first half. We've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed the MetLife. We've enjoyed being out here right now, to be honest with you. It doesn't half make me wish I was playing, but that's talking Reds, Gareth Roberts, Neil Atkinson.